Okay, Jasmine, are we live now? Jasmine, are we live? You're on mute, so if you...
Yes, Mayor, I'm sorry. I'm also answering the calls.
Okay.
We are live now.
All right, thank you very much. All right, welcome Town of Cutler Bay. Welcome to our first hybrid meeting for regular town council. Today is Wednesday, January 20th at 7 p.m. And we are doing a virtual town council where some of us are socially distanced in town hall and the rest of us are in remote locations in line with precautions for COVID-19. So with that, if you could all please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Madam Clerk, will you please take roll?
Councilmember Duncan.
Here.
Councilmember Corriat.
Here.
Councilmember Lord.
Here.
Vice Mayor Callahan.
Here.
Mayor Mearbot.
Present.
Have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Okay, before we get started, I'm going to turn it over to our town attorney, Mitch. Go ahead and give us a little bit more background on the virtual meeting. So Mitch, you have the floor, please.
All right. Thank you. Can you hear me? As you know, we continue to have difficulty having in-person meetings because of the health crisis. We have the ability under Florida law, even without a emergency order from the governor, to hold a meeting with 3 members physically present and other members appearing virtually, which is what the town has decided to do. And at this time, it would be appropriate to entertain a motion to allow for those members who are appearing virtually to do so.
Okay, I'm looking for a motion to allow virtual appearance by our the other council, which is not present.
So moved.
We have a motion by Rocco. Second. Second by Councilman Callahan. All in favor, say aye. Aye. We have none opposed. Motion carries. We have 2 attendees by virtual.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much. All right, just before we get started, real quick, again, today is January 20th, and in our nation's capital, we did inaugurate a new president and vice president, and we know that our country has been very divisive for a long time, and so as they go forward, I want to pray that for their success and that they're able to go ahead and be a part of bringing this country back together, though I realize that all of us have to be there. So we wish President Biden and Vice President Harris the best in leading our country. With that said, I am now going to open this floor up for public comments. Madam Clerk, if you could please read the instructions for public comments.
Thank you, Mayor. If you wish to speak, you should press *9 and the host will be alerted. Pressing *9 is known as raising your hand. Once you press *9, you'll be placed in the queue to speak. When called upon, you'll be called by the last 3 digits of your telephone number. Please wait to be called upon. When the host of the meeting recognizes you by the last 3 digits of your phone number, the host will unmute you. Press *6 and you will be unmuted and may proceed to deliver the comments. Please state your name and address at that time. If you are a hired consultant or a town employee, or if you're engaged in lobbying activities and are representing an organization, please provide that information prior to speaking. Please be sure to be in a quiet area to avoid unnecessary noise, and a time limit of 3 minutes will be imposed for each speaker during the public comments. Your cooperation is appreciated in observing the time limit. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. Facilitator, are there any people waiting to speak?
We have no hands up at this time, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. And I will go ahead and close public comments, which brings us to our Town Council monthly reports. Hopefully we have all had an opportunity to review the monthly reports. Are there any questions, comments, or concerns about the monthly reports at this time? Okay, as there are none, that takes us to, now normally we do proclamations much earlier, but we thought that we'd be able to squeeze it in this meeting, and just in case there's the attendance is higher for this meeting rather than the proclamation time. So we'd like to go ahead and as time honor our previous vice mayor who just recently stepped down, Sue Ellen Loisel. We all spoke very glowingly of you, Sue Ellen. I hope you're there listening right now. But you were a wonderful addition to this council, and you were definitely a blessing to this town. And we've gone ahead and put together, in addition to a proclamation, we put together a little book. I don't know if I can see it right here. Wait a minute, I'm on a virtual, so let me try to turn my virtual camera off real quick. So don't know how to do that right now. Sorry about that, guys. Give me 1 second. Choose video.
You realize your background is
There we go.
your
Hold
virtual
on.
background right now.
But I got it.
Got it?
Yeah, there you go. I think not much different. So, all right. So this is the little booklet that we've made for Sue Ellen, and I think it's really amazing. Usually when you see people in office, as they go through the years, you can see that the stress of the office can wear on them. But if you'll notice the 5 pictures that we have here from Susie from when she started, somehow she got better and better and better as the years go on. So she certainly knows how to handle this office. So it's a very nice booklet. I'd like to read this proclamation in your honor, Susie. It says, all right, the proclamation says, whereas the town of Cutler Bay wishes to honor Vice Mayor Sue Ellen Loisel for her distinguished career with the town and her dedicated service to the residents of our town. And whereas Vice Mayor Sue Ellen Loisel's career and lifelong community involvement have centered on the guiding principles of duty, commitment, and the creation of opportunity through education and service. She takes this belief to heart and has applied it to her commitment to the Cutler Bay community. And whereas Vice Mayor Loisel began serving as a council member for the town of Cutler Bay in 2010, quickly becoming an advocate for the older adult community and earned their respect and confidence. Her influence has resulted in the town considering the needs of older adults throughout every project. In November 2016, she was elected to serve as the town's vice mayor. And whereas Vice Mayor Loisel has distinguished herself as a passionate, caring, and dedicated professional in the public service field. Through legislation, she sponsored a variety of ordinances and resolutions designed to be inclusive and considerate of the perspectives of all residents, of all ages, and of all persuasions. And whereas throughout her service as an elected official, Vice Mayor Loisel took on an active role as a member of the Miami-Dade Age-Friendly Initiative Advisory Committee, a committee member for both the Miami-Dade League of Cities and Chamber of South Transportation Committee, and served as council liaison for the town's Communities for a Lifetime Committee, otherwise known as CFAL. And whereas, due to Vice Mayor Loisel's commitment and the hard work of the members of the CFAL Advisory Committee, the town council received a certificate of special congressional recognition from Congresswoman Donna Shalala, a Florida senator's proclamation from State Senator Jose Javier Rodriguez, and a proclamation from the Miami-Dade County Office of the Mayor and Board of County Commissioners for being the second community in the state of Florida to adopt an age-friendly action plan. And whereas Vice Mayor Loisel has been employed for the YMCA for the past 30 years, receiving honors and recognition as the American Cancer Society Woman of the Year for her work with disaster recovery at the YMCA, and the Association of YMCA Professionals Christian Emphasis Award for her dedication to the mission of the YMCA. She has been an active member of the Kiwanis Club since 1989, serving as president, board member, and committee member over many years of service. And whereas her distinguished career as a public servant with the town of Cutler Bay comes to an end, Vice Mayor Loisel is recognized for her excellence in public service, through her professionalism, respected leadership, devotion, and integrity. Now therefore be resolved, I, Tim Meerbot, by the virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor of the town of Cutler Bay, and on behalf of the town council, do hereby issue this proclamation to Sue Ellen Loisel in recognition of her many achievements, and we extend our gratitude and appreciation to Sue Ellen for her many years of exemplary service as council member and vice mayor. We congratulate her for a job well done and wish her continued success and happiness. So Ellen, you did a great job, and thank you very much.
Woo! Thank you.
And we miss that. So I'll give you the floor for a moment.
You can't do anything without your partner, right?
No, but not. Luckily, I didn't have to have anybody hold it for me this time. I put it on the desk, so
There you
not
go.
through without you. So
Well, he told me no.
okay.
Shall I speak? Can I speak?
Yes, you can speak.
Well, I wanted to thank the town, the staff, the council members at the dais today, the mayor, the vice mayor, our town attorneys, and all of the electeds before me that I had the pleasure of serving with. You know, in 2010, when I decided to take on this endeavor, it was a little bit scary at first, but I was very excited to serve the town of Cutler Bay, taking the place of Vice Mayor Ernie Soshin when he had moved up to Vice Mayor. So Council Seat 2 was very near and dear to my heart, and I've lived in this community since 89. So I'm very excited to be a part of the council and to be the vice mayor. What I would like to say to everyone, first of all, Mayor Mirbot, thank you for the wonderful proclamation. It was very near and dear to my heart, and I appreciate it. I appreciate all the work of the volunteers, especially the CFAL committee, to help us win the awards that we did and to move the town forward with the first strategic plan and also the second in the state for this age-friendly community. So hoping that our newest council member, Susie Lord, who has a near and dear friend to me, and I'm so proud of her accomplishment to win this election just recently and to take over that committee. And I know she will do a remarkable job. I've had the pleasure of working with her in the past, and also her son, Sean, who was one of our first teen advisory members. I would like to thank Vice Mayor Callahan for your support through the years, and as we've sat next to each other when Mayor Bell was in office, we had quite the time on the dais. Although many of us did not agree on everything, we always walked away proud and honorable to each other, which I hope and I know that Susie and will do the same. And we have a right to disagree, but we never took it off the dais. And Mayor Mirbot, I think you exemplified that most out of all the mayors that we've had. Mayor Bell also, I remained a friend with her off the dais, but on the dais, it was very challenging at times. But you know what? We never carried it further. And I think if our country did the same thing and we just did our job and then walked away still as friends, which you definitely have done. Roger and BJ, you both, BJ, once you, Mayor, moved Michael away from me at the dais, I got to sit next to BJ, and it was very nice. And it was nice bringing on a new council member, and he's done a remarkable job, and he's very kind-hearted and works very hard. And I know that the council moving forward is left in great hands. Madam Clerk, you've been a wonderful addition to our town for many, many years. And we're so glad that you continue to serve with us, and you left and you came back, and we love you for that. And you've always been helpful, and you will continue to aid the council as much as you can, and even more so. Nobody could ever ask. And the same to our manager, Ralph. You were so responsive to everything that we've ever done, to our residents, to us as council members, to anyone in the community that needed help. even if I would call you and say, hey, how do I find this out for a friend? And it didn't have anything to do with the town. Per se, they were a resident, but you would find the resource for me to help. And I applaud you for that, for always being there for our community. Council Bierman, I really appreciate our friendship. I appreciate the time that we had together, and Chad as well. The advice that you gave me through hard times, being able to be the confidant and be able to reach out to make sure I was doing everything right. I'm quite the rules girl, as you know, and I would get very nervous. So I called you probably more than anyone else about ways to make sure that I'm doing the right thing and bringing forth our town to become a better place. I think that we've accomplished so much with all of the councils from the past, and we will continue in the future. I made a request to the manager. I said I didn't want a statue because I know that sometimes when people leave, they get a glass statue. I'm all about memories, and I'm all about sharing with everyone who was a part of my life through this council. And so you all made me this beautiful book. And it has so many gorgeous pictures and memories. And you're right. Yes, I did improve with age. I just had my 60th birthday, and I do have to say, I think I look much better. But looking at all of the past councils and all of the elections and different things, this was quite a remarkable book. And I have to probably thank Desiree for her hard work in doing this. I sat this morning, it was delivered to my house today. And I sat with Rhonda over coffee, and it just brought back so many memories of all of the fun things that we did together. And I know that you will continue your service. You will continue to do things that are right for our town. And I'm going to miss everyone dearly. And I believe that our town staff is the best staff that we ever had. I could not leave this conversation without talking about all of our staff. To be 32 full-time strong, it's very, very important that we take care of the staff and that we make sure that that we respect them and their positions. And I think that we've always done a great job with that. And listening to them and their advice when they give us their advice and talk to us about what is right, what is wrong, what is legal, and their opinion, although we do have the last say. And to our town residents, you've brought challenges to us, you've spoken up, you've held our hands in times of need. We were there for you from the hurricane. We had our environmentalists pushing our buttons and making us look forth to the future for our children. We've had our stronghold residents that have been at many, many meetings, and I appreciate their input. Although I may have never agreed with everything, I respected everything that they had to say, and never was a bad word said. And I will continue to live my life that way. And I applaud you for your efforts of holding us accountable. Our residents are that's who we work for, and we will never forget that. And we will never forget your hard work in making our city a town in 2005. So for all of those who came before me, and for all of those who come after me, I truly appreciate this time. I appreciate the proclamation, and especially the memory book. I'm all about memories, so keep making more memories and make our town proud. And I'll be back at the next event whenever we can have one again. Love you all, and God bless you all, and take care.
All right, thank you very much, Sue Ellen, and God bless you as well.
Can I
We've-
say something?
Oh,
Yes, you may. You have a quick minute. We do have a.
I do have a quick minute. The book went today.
Mhm.
The photo book went today to the hole in the wall, and everybody there was so excited and so happy about the book. I just want to tell you, thank you so very much
Thank you.
for putting so many memories together. That's all I got to say.
now we got to take it to the sandbar, I guess.
There you go. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank
for your
you.
service, and we wish you the best. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. We did have Congressman Salazar on the line, but she had to drop off. So I guess she's being busy, but she is going to be joining us again at 8 o'clock. So we have another newly elected official representing South Dade. And that is the county commissioner, which has a portion of Cutler Bay in it. And that's Commissioner Keone McGee. Keone, are you on the line, sir?
Hey, Mayor, can you see me?
Not yet. I can hear you, but I can't see. There you are. Okay. There you go.
How are you, Mayor?
Very well, thank you. Thank you very much for joining us today, and thank you for being a part of I guess the body that's going to go ahead and move South Dade and Cutler Bay forward. So I'd give you the floor, sir. You're a little frozen up there, Keone. Can you hear me? You are lagging, Keone.
No, I just want to say thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you to the council. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I'm a big advocate. Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now as well. So please continue.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
I can
you
hear you.
Okay, I can hear you as well. I don't think we can hear. Ralph, you might want to see if we can, or Jasmine, if you can give Keone
Okay.
the call-in number.
I just want to say thank you, Mr. Mayor, and to the council. And can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Go ahead. Please go ahead.
I can hear you.
I can hear you. We can hear you.
So I just want to say thank you very much. I'm currently.
Keone, you
Thank you,
dropped
Mr. Mayor.
off.
Again, I'll try this one more time. I just want to say thank you
Has to be.
to
Keone, we're having some technical difficulties hearing you. If Ralph, if you could perhaps text him the call-in number so he could dial in with a cell phone instead of going through the Wi-Fi, then we'd probably be able to hear them, though we won't be able to see them. And I can go on to, if Aurelia is on the line, we can go to her and come back to Keone in just 1 minute, if that's acceptable with him, okay? So Aurelia, so now we have our Chief Bay Officer, which has been appointed for Cutler Bay. And, as you know, the Biscayne Bay is very, very important for the livelihood of all of South Dade and all of South Florida, for that matter. And I've had the pleasure of meeting her and working with her a couple of times. So really excited to have her on board. So Aurelia Bagay, thank you very much for joining us today. Can't wait to hear what you can share with us. And I can't wait to work with you to see what we can do better to go ahead and preserve our beautiful bay and to make life here in South Florida much better. So I'll give you the floor, Aurelia.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor, and council members for giving me a moment to share the news. I am the first Chief Bay Officer for Miami-Dade County, and I'll walk you through a little bit of how I got here. I was previously the chair of the Biscayne Bay Task Force, which was created by the County Commission back in 2019. And the task force was charged with developing a final report with recommendations to improve the health of Biscayne Bay. And we met over 18 months, heard from a diversity of stakeholders and governments and agencies and you name it. And basically what our work confirmed is that what happens on land ends up in the bay. And this is what's led to the increased nutrient pollution and the decline overall of the bay's ecosystem and habitat. So what we also realized is that there were many agencies and governments and environmental organizations working on solutions, but that work wasn't being done in a coordinated and unified manner. So our final report, which we submitted to the County Commission back in the fall, and kind of coinciding with that horrible fish kill that we experienced in the northern part of the watershed. Our report recommended an overarching governing and administrative structure that would basically work together to develop a Biscayne Bay watershed management plan and implement all the task force recommendations. And we would be creating a Biscayne Bay watershed management board, which I hope that the town will be, participating in and working with us. Our recommendations were divided into 7 policy themes, and I hope that you all have a copy of the report and you go through it. And we really focused primarily on improving water quality across the watershed. And we also pointed out that many of these recommendations the county could implement immediately, and others likely obviously would take a little bit more time, funding, collaboration. But since then, a little progress has been made. We issued a state of emergency in response to the fish kill over the summer, sadly. We are currently working on a county fertilizer ordinance. And of course, they approved the hiring of a chief bay officer. This is my second week on the job, so I'm pretty fresh into government, and I'm working on establishing all of these relationships. My main focus and role is really advising the mayor and the county commission, building partnerships, like I said, and really ensuring that these recommendations are implemented and not shelved, as has happened before with many reports and previous plans. So I'm very excited, and I want to commend the town of Cutler Bay, Mayor Bott, your leadership and council members, your manager. You are very forward thinking, and you've already taken many actions on behalf of the health of the Bay. So we're very excited to work with you. And I really, appreciate you allowing me a little time to speak and introduce myself. I'm really encouraged to see a resolution in support of our task force report on your agenda today. And that's very encouraging and exciting. Of course, the Bay's recovery, we all know, is going to take time, but the key to our success is working together at all levels and really, educating our public on the importance of our Bay. As we all know, our ecosystem and our environment is the economy. So we have to keep the momentum and really help to save and protect our Bay for future generations. So thank you so much. And I look forward to working with all of you.
Thank you very much as well. And again, you may be new to the job, and I know that your experience makes you well suited for it. So again, Cutler Bay has always been committed to improving our environment, and we know that we can bring the Bay back, and we're going to work with you to do that at all costs. So I'm looking forward to working with you as well. So
Well,
thank you.
Thank you very much. We're very optimistic. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. All right, I believe we have Keone back on the line now. So Keone, we're going to give you one more try instead of doing the Max Headroom impression. Hopefully we can hear you this time. So you're on mute right now. Jasmine, if you take Keone off of mute.
I have asked him to unmute.
Okay. And
Mayor.
I can hear you. Keone, welcome
Mayor,
again.
can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hey, we're going to try this again, but let me just say this, Mayor, and to the council, I consider everyone here family. Thank you all so much again for always allowing me to either crash a party or crash a council meeting, but whatever it is, you always open the door and allow for me to be part of the team. Secondly, I just want to let you know, listen, use me as a resource. Again, you know where my heart is. I'm all about the South. So if I can be of any assistance on the county commission, I will definitely take up whatever the issue or battle or advocate for whatever it is that'll make the great citizens of your city better off than they were yesterday. And lastly, I just want to say this. Make no mistake about it, the economic growth of the South Dade community is what's important to me. My job right now is to put us on the same footing as those who are north of us, but at the same time, do it in a way that will make sense for the overall comprehensive plan. And that plan for me is pretty much found within our transportation debate, whether we're pro-rail or anti-rail or pro-BRT or anti-BRT. at the end of the day, the discussion, a legitimate discussion, must be had as to how we're going to deal with this gridlock with traffic. One thing I can honestly say is, and I love this about my great South Dade community, is that we are growing beyond leaps and bounds. We're one of the fastest growing geographical areas in the entire state. And right now we're seeing the houses, the businesses are coming down, but we have to complement them with some form of great transportation that will be able to move bodies and products in a way, in a fashion that makes sense. And Mayor, again, and to the council, thank you so much. And I'll leave you with, and I'll say this again, I've always stated it, but I just want to let folk know that we got to figure out a way to get to the point where it's the one South Dade voice that's pretty much leading the choir and controlling our own narratives and keeping everybody else out from trying to divide us. So with that said, Mayor, Mr. Mayor, and to the council, thank you. And you have my personal cell, you have my office information, and I'm there fighting a good fight for you.
Thank you very much, Keone. We do appreciate that. One of the previous weaknesses of South Dade was a divided voice, and we've been able to go ahead and bring these voices together and move together and go forward. So we're really looking forward to continue that as we work with you, and as well as Commissioner Higgins, who represents the rest of Cutler Bay, and looking for an open line of communication as we try to figure out what the best way to make the citizens' lives better. And of course, we all know that we got to tackle this transportation issue without a doubt, and economic development in the South is a must. So look forward to working with you with that, and thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Keone. All right, again, we will be hearing from Congressman Salazar roughly around 8 o'clock, so we're going to move forward with the rest of our agenda at this time. So that'll take us to the reports, and we have the town manager report. Ralph, I'll give you the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. A couple announcements. Friendly reminder, on Wednesday, January 27th at 6 p.m., we will have a council legislative priorities workshop via the Zoom platform that we're on right now. And we are going to have Commissioner Cohen Higgins, who wasn't able to make it tonight, to address the council, briefly during our workshop. So again, that's Wednesday, January 27th, 6 p.m. Briefly, our COVID expenses to date is $1.1 million. That is a large number, but I could rest assured that we are receiving $676,000 from the CARES Act to help the reimbursement costs. And later tonight, you'll see another agenda item for accepting a grant of $146,000 from FDLE to help offset the overtime costs. So if you do the quick math, that remainder of $339,000 is what a combination of that is what we're going to be submitting for FEMA for reimbursement. As you recall, the CARES Act, the $75 million portion for the municipalities was to reimburse items that are not reimbursable by FEMA. So we're down to $339,000 that we're actively pursuing FEMA funding. The other portion of the CARES Act was the $25,000 that there was only 21 municipalities that we fought hard for, and we were able to receive $500,000 from that pot of money. Originally, it was $150,000 for child care assistance and $400,000 for, $300,000 for, $200,000 for child care assistance, $200 for child care, and $300 for housing mortgage assistance. Since then, we were able to successfully fund 22 families through our child care assistance program. And knowing that it was more popular, we had a lot more applications the mortgage assistance program, we shuffled money to the $150,000 towards the $300,000, and we were able to fund $254,000, which was 87 residents of the town of Cutler Bay. Now, if you're doing the math, that leaves $160,000 that was not spent before the deadline. I could tell you I know that the mayor's been involved with the League of Cities. There's been a hard push at the county commission level because the federal government, through the previous administration's CARES Act, extended the CARES Act funding for another year, eligible time to spend the money. So right now we are lobbying the county commission and staff to allow us the extra time to have that $160,000 that's still there in that pot of money for the mortgage assistance to go out again and get folks to go ahead and submit money. Next part is the ever-ending EEL application, our EEL application saga. I could tell you that I've been involved with the Mayor Commissioner Levine Cava staff. They're calling the EEL staff, our town attorney's office, through Chad Freeman is calling the county attorney's office. We have at least a good sense that it's going to be going before the February subcommittee for the Board of County Commissioners. Part of the issue was that the county didn't set up the committee meetings and appointments till like the end of January. And then hopefully we'll have that on the full board of the Board of County Commissioners in March. But that has not stopped the town staff to aggressively pursue. We've actually actively pursued over $8 million worth of grants to reimburse ourselves the purchase price of $8.45 million. And I can say that as of the middle of December, we are the proud owners of 8.45 acres on Old Cutler Road. So as I mentioned to the county staff and our grant agency, now we got to pay for it. So we're going through that process now. As you recall, earlier, late last year, we went through the capital improvements bond/loan. So we were able to, secure that property. So now it's ours. And we're going to be actively pursuing the different grants that we have in that project. Briefly, Caribbean Boulevard Bridge. That might be kind of like, far away for some folks, right? Because the only reason why we actually looked up the time, we've been working on this project for 10 years. 10 years. If you recall, when we were building Caribbean Boulevard, at one point the county staff wanted us to build, not build Caribbean Boulevard extension, Gap 2, until they built the bridge. So the funding has been secured. The contract was awarded. It's a $2.7 million project on the Caribbean Boulevard Bridge, and it's a flood mitigation plan. So what's going to happen is that, as you know, the bridge is kind of like an hourglass if you've been underneath it. So it's going to be a straight shot because all that Bel Air area there, all the outflows go there. So it's a drainage project. The bridge will be wider. It will still remain 2 lanes. It'll have, some center medians there and what have you, but it's a flood mitigation project. So our public works department has been working close with Miami-Dade County. And by the end of this week, we should be finalized a public information session meeting virtually on February the 11th. But I will provide that information to the county council and through all our social media outlets, because we wanted to have the county come back, because it's been 10 years since the last time the community heard about this. Lakes by the Bay canoe kayak completed in late December, a little bit behind schedule, but we know that we're working with the county attorney's office and our contractor to go after some, daily fines, unfortunately, but at least fortunately for us, we were able to gain an extension of time through our friends at FERDAP. As you recall, that project was partially funded by a $200,000 grant from FERDAP. So at least I can report that we are in good standing with our state partners in that. And more importantly, that project came in under budget by $79,000. $79,000 that came in under budget. So we were able to, work really aggressively with, thanks to our Parks and Recreation Director and our CEI. We didn't need to use any of the allowance account. So we came in under $79,000. What's that mean for us? Remember, the remaining funding was going to be funded by our park impact fees. So that's less of a drawdown from our park impact fees. So, thank you, ET and his staff. Franjo Park improvements. I'm sure you've gone by there. Behind the screening, you see some nice black fencing and backstops and dugouts. That is, believe it or not, 70% complete. 70% complete. It's scheduled to be open in early June. We're pushing the contract to see if we can do it a little bit earlier. But again, a lot of the grass has to set and what have you. But I love to report that we're to the point that we're laying down the sod, right? So that's something that's good. And also that one, we also received a grant from FERDAP to offset the cost, $200,000. So that's another one that we were able to obtain that grant. And our Parks and Recreation Director, as well as our consultant, they meet on a weekly basis with the contractor. So, I get these weekly reports, and they're usually like 10 to 15 pages of like little different details. So we can't wait to have that. And I know that, I think, Mayor, you mentioned at one point, I think during one of your interviews, that we want to bring back where, we have the nice parade for the kids and what have you. That's what we want to do. you know, and they're going to be very proud of going to that park. You know, there's going to be golf cart parking. There's going to be a lot more overflow parking there as well. So I can't wait to have that parade coming down there and maybe having some folks that played there years ago, you know, come to the ribbon cutting, as we say. So that's kind of our game plan. But we're almost there. We're getting there. Wiggum Elementary on 87th Avenue. If you guys know that area there, you know that there's a mud pit on 87th Avenue where all the parents park 3 cars deep. And, you know, thank God, knock on wood, there hasn't been any major accidents there. I don't know how. It's organized chaos. So this project, we've actually been coordinating with Miami-Dade County and Miami-Dade County School Board, and believe it or not, South Florida Water Management District for the last 3 years. It's a $182,000 improvement to that swale area there, that we're limiting the amount of parking, and there's going to be a lot more a pervious area there. And if you ask why South Florida Water Management District, trivia question, 87th Avenue south of Old Cutler Road is actually a levee for South Florida Water Management District. So there went another 6 months worth of permitting, you know, but it was, you know, we lobbied for it. It was funded completely by Miami-Dade County and coordinated through Miami-Dade County Public Schools. The project started in December, if you drive by there, and is scheduled to be completed on March the 21st. Lastly, our on-demand free service, right? Started in December, on December the 14th. We've actually averaged 46 riders per week. But more encouragingly is as of today, there's been 530 downloads of the apps, you know, for the app that they have there. And just yesterday, we had our highest ridership in one day, which was 21 folks. You know, we had 21 riders just yesterday. So I know the word is getting out. And the stats that we keep through the vendor, 50% of the riders average 12 rides per week. So they're kind of figuring out how to kind of move around the town for free. You know, I mean, you know, so we obviously looking forward to that. And that was, again, funded through an FDOT grant of $193,500 for the next 3 years. So it's 193, 193, 193. And we are matching it with our own PTP transportation money. So that's something that's very, very encouraging as well. So Mayor, that's what I have in my report. I know next up we have Linda Morris from Miami-Dade County Transit to present her report, unless there's any questions from me.
Just one real quick comment, Ralph. I did speak with Commissioner Higgins, Chief of Staff, concerning the CARES Act, and she indicated that there is going to be a motion for a lot of the extension of it at the local level. So looking forward to that. So
perfect. And we'll push out. Again, part of the issue with the mortgage and rental assistance, the average application has actually been about like $4,800 per applicant. Unfortunately, only one out of 3 folks will qualify. Either they can't obtain the reports or they were in the arrears before the COVID pandemic. So we want to try to get as many people to apply, because we certainly don't want to have return any money to the county. So thank you, Mayor.
all right, thank you very much. Council, is there any questions for the town manager concerning his report? All right, with that, then we'll go ahead and go on to Linda Morris. Is she available?
Good
evening.
Linda, you have the floor.
Excellent. Good evening, council members, mayor. I'm Linda Morris, the new Chief of Service Planning and Scheduling at Miami-Dade Transit. I spent the last 13 years in service planning for an agency in Oakland, California. So happy to join the Miami team. And
Linda?
I think she's using peony stone.
Okay.
I think I am, there we go. Okay.
There you are. Okay.
So tonight I'm going to briefly walk through the annual report on the Cutler Bay local. So Miami-Dade Transit operates the local Route 200, which started operations in 2012 as a circulator. The route serves major destinations in the area, such as Southland Mall, Town Hall, and Old Cutler Town Center, and connects to the South Miami-Dade Transitway with Metro bus service to the north. Metro bus service north to Metro Rail and south to Florida City. It operates hourly, and it's slowly expanded over the last few years from weekday only service to Saturday, and most recently in 2018, Sunday service was established in a partnership between the town and county. It's funded through the half-cent surtax, which stipulates that 20% is distributed to municipalities to use specifically for transportation and transit projects. All municipalities must apply 20% of their share towards transit use and have to submit plans for approval to the county. So in terms of ridership, the second quarter of 2020 averaged 3,241 riders a month. Despite the pandemic, the ridership is only down roughly 18% in that second quarter of 2020, which the report details. And that compares to roughly 40% across the county. So the ridership in Cutler Bay is doing well during the pandemic. And then pre-COVID, the trend for the actual route ridership was starting to tick down a little from a high of about 5,000 a month in 2017 to just under 4,000 last year. But this is pretty much in line with ridership trends in the county and nationwide. But we're going to have to wait and see what happens after the pandemic as transit kind of shakes out. The county also suspended fares for the pandemic on March 20th to help with social distancing for the operator from passengers. And there's actually a town hall tomorrow with the mayor where one of the topics to be discussed is going to be a timeline to reinstate fares. For the year ending June 2020, there was one mechanical issue that led to a cancelled trip. All other mechanical issues were issues with wheelchair ramps or transmission problems, but none of the other issues caused a loss of service. In terms of complaints and calls to 311, the Cutler Bay local totaled 10 calls in the year, and that's under one a month. To give some context, 311 processes about 70,000 transit-related calls a month, so there's very little concern, it would seem. In terms of what they related to, a couple of them were about the service running late, a couple were putting in a new stop, and a couple were about aggressive driving. And then finally, we have 3 agreements coming up that we need to ratify in the coming months. So we've got a new interlocal agreement, an ILA that we're updating, kind of provides the structure of the provision. We're going to be updating the fixed route agreement as we're coming up to the expiration of the service in May. And we're working with your staff to bring that agreement to our board as soon as possible. And I believe on your end, it's handled administratively. So, and then the final agreement is the on-demand service that Ralph talked about. So we just need to, again, have another ILA that provides the structure for that service that the county approves. And with that, I'll be happy to take any questions.
All right, thank you very much for that report. Council, do you have any questions? No? You know, that circulator really is a great benefit to our citizens of Cutler Bay, especially our elderly. So we appreciate that partnership with the county, and welcome from Oakland. So they lost not only their football team, but they lost you as well. So I guess it's everybody else's plus for Vegas, and us are winners in that one. So we're glad you're here to work with us.
Thank you, happy to be here.
All right, thank you very much. And that moves us on to the town attorney's report. So Mitch, do you have a report for us, sir?
I'm going to wave.
Okay, and we're going to wave back and we'll go ahead and move on. Madam Clerk, do you have a town clerk report for us?
I do, thank you, Mayor. I wanted to report, as I know that you're all aware, that since our last regular town council meeting, and as you'll be certifying in as part of the consent agenda, we've had 2 successful elections. We're working with the candidates over the next month to wrap up their reports and helping them close their accounts. So welcome to our new vice mayor and our new council member. And they both successfully took the oath of office after the certification of the elections. Over the holidays and meeting break.
Debbie, you're on mute again. Debbie, hold on. You somehow clicked on mute.
Sorry.
No problem.
Over the holidays and our meeting break, we have been working with our new agenda management vendor, setting up and training on the new platform, and also training key employees in the manager's office on the creation of agenda items and the approval process. We're currently in the installation of the equipment phase, and the town manager's office and his IT team are about to begin the installation of the equipment in the chambers. And this new system is going to allow us to have a camera so that we'll not only be recording audio as we were with our previous Granicus product, but we'll be able to have video for full transparency. Once the installation is completed, the clerk's office will be trained on running and publishing meetings. So we still have that phase once the equipment's installed. The reaction of the agenda management training that we've had so far from the staff is that it's a much easier, a more user-friendly platform to navigate. And we already know that it's less expensive than the Granicus vendor that we had, but the driving decision to change really was the discussions that I had with the town manager for us to become ADA compliant. And so we're wrapping this all together with saving money and also adding equipment for transparency. Just for the council members, you currently have the iLegislate app, and this software will have a new version of that. So we'll have to get that installed once we're up and running and understand what we're doing. Also wanted to touch on, in response to the June 6th Town Council workshop, that we advertised for vacancies. And we've had little to no response to those advertisements. So we have the Community for a Lifetime Committee, Floodplain Mitigation Plan Committee has to be a local business person. The Education Advisory Committee, and the Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee, and the Youth Council Committee all had vacancies as a result of the workshop that we had on January 6th. The committee meetings will resume via Zoom in February, and I'll be contacting each of the liaisons so that we can, individually that is, so that we can start talking about the process and setting up the meetings for you. We have 3 committee meetings the first week of February, so you'll be hearing from me in the next week. So we're hoping to receive some more resumes and that we'll be able to do that so that we can make the appointments part of the February agenda. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. And one real quick, what's the difference between pox and parks?
Florida and New England.
Okay, just there was a new word. Sorry, I had to yank your chain in there. All right. All right, thank you very much. Council, is there any questions for the town clerk? No? Okay. All right, with that, then we'll go ahead and move along to the consent agenda. You all have had a chance to remove it. Are there any polls from the consent agenda? BJ, you are recognized.
K, 5K as in Keone.
Okay. Okay, and Councilman Callahan, you also had a poll?
Yes, D and F.
D and F. Okay. All right, we'll get back to those. Rest of consent agenda, I'm looking for a motion for approval.
I make a motion to approve the balance of the consent agenda.
All right, we have a motion from Roger, looking for a second. We have a second from BJ. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay. All righty. You have no quasi judicial hearings tonight. So again, we do have a public comment. So we'll open that up for public comments again. Madam Clerk, if you've already read the instructions or for public comments. And so Jasmine, is there anybody in the queue to speak at this time?
I'm looking at the participants list and no one currently has their hand raised to speak.
Okay, then I will go ahead and close public comments, which takes us to ordinances for second reading. Public hearing is required. This is 10A. So Madam Clerk, if you can read item 10A, please.
An ordinance of the mayor and town council of the town of Cutler Bay, Florida, creating Chapter 9 titled Public Nuisances, authorizing a special magistrate to preside over nuisance abatement cases and impose fines and other non-criminal penalties pursuant to section 893.138 Florida statutes, providing for inclusion in the code, providing for severability, and providing for conflicts, and providing for an effective date.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. And again, this is an item that I brought forward. It just gives us, we discussed it before, it gives us a little bit more power to enforce. So when we have nuisance houses there where there's criminal activity go on or other things like that. So I will open this up for discussion. Would anybody like to discuss this item? Yeah, I know we already did that. Thank you, Roger. So I'm looking for a motion for approval.
It's just to open it for a public hearing as a formality.
All right, I will open this item up for public hearing. So Jasmine, I will give it a minute to see if anybody wants to go join in on this public hearing.
I don't see anybody in the queue with their hand raised, sir.
All right, then I will go ahead and close the public hearing. Looking for a motion for approval.
Motion to approve item 10A.
We have a motion by Roger, looking for a second. Second by Vice Mayor Callahan. I'm going to make that mistake for at least 3 years. Maybe 2. You never know. Sorry, getting ahead of myself. So we have a motion and a second. Can you take a roll call vote, Madam Clerk?
Councilmember Duncan.
Yes.
Councilmember Coriat.
Yes.
Councilmember Lord.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Callahan.
Yes.
Mayor Mearbot.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, that takes us to resolutions, item 11A. If you read item 11A, Madam Clerk.
A resolution of the mayor and town council of the town of Cutler Bay, Florida, supporting the June 2020 Biscayne Bay Task Force report and recommendations and providing for authorization and providing for an effective date.
All right, and this is Councilman Duncan and Councilman Coriat's item to move forward. Would either one of you like to speak on this item? You both raised your hand. So I'm going to go ahead and let Councilman Roger, because he is a senior member, go first. So, and BJ gave him the floor, so I appreciate that. Go ahead, Roger.
Thank you. I think if you mute your mic, it'll remove the echo.
There you go.
If you mute yourself.
Okay, go ahead.
There, look at that technology. So first of all, I am very happy and proud to share the sponsorship of this with Councilmember Duncan. And this began with one incarnation, I would say, and it has evolved a bit over the last few weeks as we've talked with the manager and with our town staff about it. So, I mean, honestly, I would, unless BJ wants to add something, I'd like to defer to our manager to really explain what we're doing with this resolution.
All right, we have a nod by BJ. So Ralph, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mayor, Members of Council. So as we mentioned earlier today, we had the Chief Biscayne Bay Officer tonight in our meeting, and she's very encouraged to see that we are one of the upfront cities that are supporting the report. And I think when you look at that report, it's very well written. You can see it's been thought out, a lot of different action items, and that's great for us because it forces us, it challenges town staff. We have a lot of comp plan elements that we talked about with the climate change and sea level rise, as well as our resiliency plan. We just came off our three-legged moratorium. That one of the ones was environmental. So as we start looking at that report, there's a lot of things that we could help as well. And there's also been through our workshop, I think Councilman Corey is going to be, sponsoring a resiliency sustainability committee. So all those things are kind of starting to come together now for us, Mayor, and it's great. We have an adopted green master plan that won an award through the American Planning Association. So I think it kind of cultivates everything that we're doing now and puts it all together. I think all the pieces of the puzzle there is just a matter of putting it together. And the Biscayne Bay Task Force report is just one little piece. Again, when I spoke to Idela just a week ago regarding like, hey, you guys need to pass a fertilizer. Yeah, we did that back in October. Oh, okay. So we're getting a little bit ahead of the game there. So and again, I think there's going to be a lot of funding opportunity. As you know, about 3 weeks ago, the governor announced, $20 million worth of funding for Biscayne Bay, 10 million from the state, and 10 million from Miami-Dade County, and we certainly want to be in that lineup for different projects there. So this is just one of the many steps that we'll do by adopting this plan. So thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much, BJ. Or was there anything you'd like to add to that?
Oh, no, I mean, I think with this resolution and the next one that will be tackling the environmental issues with the Bay, this town council has served a very strong environmental purpose in protecting the Bay and protecting the environment. And this is taking that next step to ensure that we continue to be leaders in the South Florida and South Miami-Dade area, looking forward to sustainability and resiliency. So I want to thank Councilmember Coriat for co-sponsoring this as well, and for town manager and town staff for all the hard work they've done to get this going.
All right, thank you very much. With that, I'm looking for a motion for approval. And
I will make a motion to approve resolution 11A.
All right,
I will second it.
And we have a second from Councilman Coriat. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. And Ralph, I'm going to check you real quick because Congressman Salazar said she'd be back around 8 o'clock. Is she available now?
Just texted her staff. I'm waiting for them to respond back. So Mayor, we could continue with the resolutions, and I'll try to interrupt.
All right, thank you very much. All right, item 11B, Madam Clerk, if you can read 11B.
A resolution of the mayor and town council of the town of Cutler Bay, Florida, urging the Bahamian government to revoke offshore oil drilling exploration licenses and permanently ban offshore oil drilling activities in the Bahamas, providing for transmittal and providing for an effective date.
BJ, again, I'll give you the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So typically, I would not necessarily be an advocate for a municipal government passing any sort of resolution urging an international government to do one thing or another. But because we are adjacent to the Bay, and the Bay it's in our name, it's in our environment, it's in everything that we do down here, protecting that community, protecting that Bay from any sort of future oil drilling and exploitation, so to speak, regardless of the purposes or the reason, I think it's very important to explore, and as a town council to act upon that and to urge as much as we possibly can to prevent any sort of harm being done to that Bay. So with that being said, it's pretty clear cut. I try to keep offshore drilling, whether it be United States waters or international waters, as much as we possibly can to prevent any sort of potential future hazards or spillage or anything else of that nature from occurring in our own backyards, and to continue to build up resiliency.
All right, thank you very much. Is there any comments or questions from the council on this? Roger?
Thank you. I'm just curious what the history behind this resolution. Usually these kind of things, they come to us from another municipality or another government agency. I'm wondering how this got to your attention and then therefore to us.
Yeah, so this was kind of piggybacked off of another municipality who had passed a similar resolution. Once I caught wind of that, once I saw that and I realized what they had done, it made perfect sense for us down here in Cutler Bay, being another Bay community, to take this up and hopefully urge other municipalities and whatnot in the South Florida area, along the Biscayne Bay area, along the Atlantic coast area, to also take their own actions and try to get as much weight behind it to prevent this type of activity from occurring and to protect our environment.
And Councilman Corey, that was actually the town, our sister city town of Surfside.
And if I might add, I wonder if we wanted to amend this to encourage our state and federal government to also intervene and try to encourage the Bahamian government to revoke offshore drilling. Would you be amenable to a friendly amendment to add that to this?
Absolutely. I think that is right along with the basis of what this resolution is. So I'd be 1000% for that.
Okay. And again, I don't think the exact wording is necessary other than to support that we urge that local, state, and federal government send a message to the Bahamian government to please ban offshore drilling. All right. With that, I'm looking for a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve 11B.
As amended.
Second.
As amended.
And second as amended.
As amended.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
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 All right, thank you. All right, we have a couple of things, but we do have our newly elected Congresswoman Salazar is on the line, and first of all, we'd like to welcome her. So, can she hear us now? I see she's there, but she's still on mute.
On mute. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Welcome.
Wonderful.
Welcome to the Town of Cutler Bay meeting. We're
Sure.
very excited that you're joining with us. We always like to open the lines of communication and work collaboratively together to make South Florida a wonderful place to live, work, and play. So with that, I know your time probably been a very, very busy day for you. So and probably a couple busy weeks for you as well. So
Correct.
I will give you the floor.
Yeah, you can see me and hear me fine, right?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Because I cannot see myself. I'm not sure if the lighting is good. I was running around like you said, and I was at the beginning of the meeting, but we had another previous engagement. So I asked my district director to come to tell you guys that I was going to be joining you at the end of the meeting. So I very much appreciate the fact that you waited for me. It's a new job, and I wanted to introduce myself. My name is Maria Salazar. Maybe some of you knew me from before. I was in Spanish television for 35 years, always in the private sector. But then I decided to join the ranks of the elected officials and be able to serve you and everybody else in district number 27. And that's why I'm reaching out to you. Maybe some of you do not know me, but I do want you to know me very well, because I'm going to be there to serve Cutler Bay and the whole South area, Cutler Ridge, Cutler Bay, Palmetto Bay, all our neighbors in 27. I know the environment is very important. I'm trying to talk to my colleagues in Congress to join that special council or special committee that has been formed. It's a bipartisan initiative on the environment, and I'm planning to join them if they open the door for me. 27, as I'm sure you know, has a very long coast. We have a lot of water that we need to protect, because I am the type of person that I believe that regardless who made it, whether it's handmade, whether it's nature-made or man-made, it doesn't matter. We have a major problem with the environment. And if in South Florida, we do not preserve the beaches, the coast, the cleanliness of the water, we do not have an economy. And on top of that, we just cannot live here for much longer. So that's my commitment. And I wanted to know that I thank the mayor and all the council members and everybody that wants to reach out to us. Our doors are opened. I would like to meet you in person. I understand that we have to do these webinars because of COVID. I had COVID. I'm still recouping from it. I'm not sure if you guys know that I wound up at the hospital. I couldn't go to my own swearing in ceremony, but here we are serving the community, starting with you guys.
Right. Well, thank you very much. And first of all, I'm glad that you're doing better.
Me too.
It would be a very, very scary thing. So hopefully you're on your recovery. And the town of Cutler Bay, as you said, is very committed to making sure that we preserve the environment for our future generations.
Yes.
We've taken a lot of actions on our own, but there's a lot more that we can do. And I really look forward to working with you to see what type of federal solutions we have for, number one, protecting Biscayne Bay, and also looking for you to see how you can help us with our transportation issues down here as well. I can't wait to meet you in person, and looking forward to it. And hopefully we'll work together and continue to move South Florida forward.
And we will. And I have Daniel Laides Vidal. He is on the line. I'm not sure you can see him, but he is, as I said, he is my district director. He knows that the South is very important for us. that we need to go out there and bring those federal funds for not only for the environment, for transportation, and on top of that, to give you a very good service to every single constituent that needs help at the federal level. On top of that, I created something called the Prosperity Center, which is, I think, something unique for a congressional office. And why is that? Now that we're going through a pandemic, the Prosperity Center is only and absolutely dedicated for three things: find people jobs, retrain them if they want to learn how to do something else, and make them clients of the federal government. I'm not sure, there are hundreds of programs at the federal level that have nothing to do with the party. They're there, that we can tap into those and provide that economic initiative and progress and a new livelihood to many people that live in your area. So please reach out. And I'm talking to you, Mayor, but also to the councilmen and women. Please reach out to us, because we have a lot of resources that we can share with you and with constituents.
We really appreciate that. And that's, prosperity is definitely what we need down here, and open lines of communication are a must. So again, I look forward to working with you and your commitment.
Indeed.
To Florida. So thank you for joining us today. I do appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thanks for the time, and looking forward to meet you as well.
All right. Thank you very much. And we will move on then. We'll get back to our resolutions. We're moving on to item 11C. And this is my own item. Okay. This is a resolution to expand the qualifying. Say that again. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Yes, Madam Clerk, if you can read item 11C. You know, Roger is filling in Susie's footsteps really, really well, just so you all know. Not looking at you.
A resolution of the mayor and town council of the town of Cutler Bay, Florida, urging the Florida legislature to expand the qualifying improvements that may be financed through property assessed clean energy programs to include conversion from septic tanks to sewer systems and other sewage treatment improvements, preliminarily identifying this issue as a state legislative priority for the 2021 session, providing for authorization, providing for transmittal, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you very much. And again, council, this is my item. I don't know if you're aware that we do have an issue in South Florida with septic tanks. As the water table begins to rise, the septic tanks can be contaminating Biscayne Bay. And it's very difficult for a lot of the homeowners to be able to convert from septic tank to sewer lines. And it's also expensive for some of the cities that don't have sewer lines to go ahead and convert and put the sewer lines in. Cutler Bay doesn't have near as many septic tanks as our cities to the north. I mean, primarily Pinecrest has thousands of septic tanks. Palmetto Bay has hundreds of them. But again, it's not just a Cutler Bay issue. This is a South Florida issue. And if we want to protect our Biscayne Bay, we need to take all measures to move forward with this. So this is just another avenue to give homeowners the ability to help take the cost on of converting over. So with that, if you have any questions or concerns. We have none, and I'd like a motion to approve.
Motion to approve item 11C.
We have a motion from Councilman Callahan and a second from Councilman Duncan. So with that, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Madam Clerk, could you read item 11D, please?
A resolution of the mayor and town council of the town of Cutler Bay, Florida, confirming amendment number 5 to emergency order number 20-04 due to the coronavirus disease 2019 COVID-19 pandemic and providing for an effective date.
All right. Ralph, is this your item? So I'll give you the floor.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. This is again ratifying my emergency order that felt like, wow, almost 6 months ago, back in October 19, where we issued an emergency order to reopen our playgrounds and outdoor fitness equipment at Lakes by the Bay, Cutler Ridge Park, Blue Heron Park, Saga Bay, and Saga Lake Park to reopen the fitness equipment and playgrounds. So this is just ratifying that emergency order. There has not been any other emergency order issues as of yet.
All right, very self-explanatory. With that, council, questions or concerns? We have none. Looking for a motion for approval.
So moved.
We have Roger for approval, looking for a second, and we have BJ with a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, motion passes. As we get back to our consent agenda, we had some items that were pulled. I'm going to go in order. Let's see, we had item D, which was pulled by, I believe, Councilman Callahan. So, Madam Clerk, if you could read item D from the consent agenda.
A resolution of the mayor and town council of the town of Cutler Bay, Florida, selecting Visual Scape Inc. for a tree planting program pursuant to request for proposal number 20-04, providing for authorization, providing for an effective date.
All right, Councilman Callahan, you have the floor, sir. I mean, Vice Mayor Callahan, you have the floor. 2 more years.
2 more years. Thank you very much, Mayor. I pulled this item to further provide clarity with items that were not included within the exhibits themselves, and also further clarification on the actual contract that was not filled out prior to approval tonight. So with the mayor's permission, I would like to ask the town manager if he would be willing to provide further clarification on this item.
Very good. Where's item specific, Ralph?
And thank you, Vice Mayor, and good catch on that. We were as the clerk mentioned earlier, this is a new format where we're trying to do as much as we can to be, ADA compliant. And normally, you would see our agenda items that are be like this particular agenda item would have attachments A through like letter F. And in those packages, we would have the proposal form from the bidder as well as a bid proposal form. But in this one here, in our haste to get the agenda out, I inadvertently did not include the most important piece of this puzzle, which is the vendor's proposal form, which once that was brought to my attention, I forwarded that to the town council. But those proposal forms are on file at the town hall and the public works department. And the way this contract will operate with the tree planting is that we have like several like a menu of different type of tree species, different size and calipers that we have gone through the bidding process and recommending the award. It's a unit price contract. So it all depends on what a tree we're going to be planting in a certain location, or if we obtain a grant, like a Neat Street grant, we are able to react quickly because we have a pre-existing unit price contract for all those trees there. So again, that's something that it was inadvertently not included in the agenda, but it was forwarded to the town council prior to the council meeting. So thank you, Vice Mayor, for catching that.
Vice Mayor Callahan.
Nope, that provides a clarification.
All right, thank you very much. Any other questions or concerns from the council? No, looking for a motion for approval of item D.
Motion to approve 5D.
We have a motion, looking for a second.
Second.
We have a second from Councilman Coriat. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Passes. Okay, let's item F. Madam Clerk, if you could read item F, please.
A resolution of the mayor and town council of the town of Cutler Bay, Florida, selecting SFM Services, Inc. for tree trimming maintenance services pursuant to request for proposal number 20-05, providing for authorization and providing for an effective date.
Right, and this was your poll as well, Councilman Callahan, or, okay, then you have the floor again, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Again, as in item 5D, just looking for additional clarification with missing attachments and certain items not filled in the contract through the chair. The town manager provide clarification.
Okay, Ralph, you have the floor, sir.
And thank you, Vice Mayor. And this is similar to the other agenda item D. It's a similar bid. This one is for tree trimming. Again, those normal items would have an items, A through F. And again, the most important part was the proposal form from the bidder that provides us tree trimming services, as well as stump and root ball removals. And it has a different type of menu that we would have based on the size and diameter of the tree. And this is something that we would have already in place in case of any type of natural disaster or what have you. It's gone through the proper bidding process, particularly the stump removal phase of it. And again, that's something that we would normally attach those items, and inadvertently didn't provide this, but I did provide the information to the council before the council meeting, and I'm available for any questions. Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Councilman Vice Mayor Callahan, and do you have any other questions or concerns? He has no other questions. Okay. All right, with that, I'm looking for a motion to approve.
Motion to approve item 5F.
Vice Mayor Callahan has motion to approve. Looking for a second.
Second.
Then we have a second by Councilman Coriat. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries. All right, Madam Clerk, item K, please.
A resolution of the mayor and town council of the town of Cutler Bay, Florida, approving a fourth amendment to the Comprehensive Parks Landscape Grounds Maintenance Services Agreement with Brightview Landscaping Services, Inc. for additional scope of services within town parks for an annual amount of $9,625, providing for authorization, providing for an effective date.
All right, Councilman Coriat, this is your poll.
This was my.
Oh, BJ. Okay, BJ's poll. Okay.
No worries. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Essentially, I pulled it just for, I guess, clarification purposes. So this deals with the 5 acres that encompasses the new canoe kayak launch, and just going through it, $9,625 a year for upkeep and maintenance on that area, which for the most part is, you know, rock. I'm just curious as to what the breakdown of the cost is and why the cost was so high for that. Like what is that entailing? What is that coming with to justify the price?
Sure. Thank you, Councilmember. That actually is, they'll have to meet the same criteria as on our bid specs, where they'll have to have so many mowing cycles per year, litter pickup, weed control, empty out the garbage cans. There are like there's 3 pavilions out there. And maintaining the entrance to the area of the park. So that's something that we negotiate with the vendor. It actually comes out to like, $962 per month, but there's more. Like, for example, there, as you can see, that we're experimenting with that loose rock, right? And we've had a couple experiences already with some folks, either with some ATVs or golf carts that just love going around that rock, and now all of a sudden you start seeing the foundation of the rock, so they have to kind of re-rake that back in. But it's encompasses more than mowing. It's all the criteria within our park. So that before that area, if you recall, it used to be like a big mound there, and they would go in there with like the bush hog mower, and that's it. But now it's more attention to detail. They're edging all those little rockway paths there, and herbiciding along all the weeds and that eventually might start growing through that area.
Thank you very much.
All right, any other questions or concerns? No, looking for a motion for approval of the item.
Motion to approve 5K.
Councilman Duncan has a motion to approve. Looking for a second. Roger Coriat gives a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that moves us all the way through our agenda. Are there any further comments? Yes, Councilman Coriat.
Thank you. I'm going to unmute now. Just a thought, and I mean, we don't get to talk other than meetings. So, I mean, I'm very glad to see you all at a distance, but face to face in this I could turn the camera on and show you how eerily empty this room is right now. Just thinking going forward, for as long as we have to do our meetings with this session, I would like to recommend that we create some like a rotation, perhaps. I mean, I think as mayor, you're stuck here every month, and I think maybe vice mayor as well. But for the 3 of us, maybe if we take turns, I don't want to deny council member Lord the pleasure of sitting in the council chamber, something that I've enjoyed for 6 years now, and council member Duncan as well. So just a thought that I know that staff could work on this, but I just wanted to put it out there.
All right. Thank you very much for that. So Councilman Lord and Councilman Duncan, if you guys want to be up next, I'm going to let you go ahead and coordinate that through our town manager. If you can't decide, you're going to do rock, paper, scissors. Okay. Actually, since there's only 2 of you, we'll go ahead and do a coin toss. So, all right. As there's no other questions, comments, or concerns, again, it's good to be back trying to go ahead and move the town forward again. And I hope we can be successful in this new year as we were last year. And in spite of COVID, we did get a lot done. So
So I just want to say as tradition, because my very first meeting went till 1:30 in the morning.
Mhm.
Councilmember Lord, you have to stay on until 1:30, please.
All right, so Ralph, you have to watch her, okay? All right,
We'll be checking back periodically.
all right. With that, God bless Cutler Bay and God bless America. This meeting's adjourned.
Bye.
Bye.